Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. We have now got for you the third game of the series, but before that, my name's Abstract, we'll be here as Bowman. We will be covering to you guys a total of 7 series for the entirety of day number 2.
Yeah, and I believe we have game 1 and 2 already done. We saw a great show from side of Team Iran and also Team Jordan coming out with the Savage as well.
Yeah!
Just amazing bracket so far. Now we take a look at the other side, right? We take a look at the further end where one of the teams where we have not seen before as of day 1. So Team Hong Kong China will be going up against Team Sri Lanka. Now, Team Hong Kong China, they're in a position where they're sitting at the bottom of the standings in the group so far, but now they have a chance to prove themselves.
So honestly, at this point in time, we gotta have to find out how this game is really gonna be like. Because to be fair, we haven't really quite managed to see much of a game, or we don't really know how it looks like when it comes down to Hong Kong China's game. And of course, when it comes down to their specific, I would say their very specific bracket itself, it is also, you know, we never really covered too much. In fact, the only game that we covered, if I'm not wrong, was Sri Lanka and Pakistan, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, Team Pakistan took that victory 2-1, I believe, right?
Yes, 2-1.
So, yeah, that was the first best of 3 that we saw in that day 1. Now, going up against Team Hong Kong China, right? Coming from a region where I believe Mobile Legends would still be relatively newer, and for Team Sri Lanka themselves, they're also exploring now more towards the community scene for Mobile Legends Bang Bang. So they're developing and making the names for themselves in the international community here, and we get a first look. So we're like early bird, right? This is early access into the server.
So this is kind of like the infancy stage of Mobile Legends Bang Bang within of their region, the East Asia and the South Asia region at the very least. But before that, let's jump right in and take a look at the standings that we've got so far for Group D, which is the East Asia and the South Asia region. We've got Mongolia that is at the top of the list with 2 points to their name, and Nepal with a total of 1 point to their name. And the reason that that is the case is because they went 2-1 in their game against who is that?
Team Pakistan.
Against Pakistan. Yes, that is right. Well, in the meantime, Pakistan themselves, they got 1 win, 1 losses. Win against Sri Lanka, loss against Nepal, 0 points. Unfortunately, they kind of tally each other out. Well, for Team Sri Lanka, -1, and Hong Kong China, -2.
Yeah, so only 2 teams will have a guaranteed spot in the playoffs here for Group D. So if we take the standings as of now, Team Mongolia, Team Nepal, they're secured that spot if this were the last day. Now, this is not the last day, however, and that third place match is also going to be taking place on the last day for that final slot to go into Aichi Nagoya.
Yep. So at this point in time, we just really need to understand how, you know, Sri Lanka and Hong Kong is gonna be, because right now, yes, Hong Kong does have got -2, while Sri Lanka -1. They still have only played a single match so far. However, this matchup between the two of them essentially helps us understand who is, well, unfortunately at the most bottom part of the leaderboards as of now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to discount them yet, right? Maybe they can climb all the way up to that top 2 as well. They've yet to play against Team Nepal, and I've yet to see their power standings here. And the top team here, Team Nepal, I don't even know how well they can do well in MLBB. Now, taking a look at Team Sri Lanka, once again, we got Praveen on that gold lane, Hashen on that roam, Nisal on the mage role in the mid, Kavindu on the jungle role, and Ramanayake on the EXP lane.
Yep, so we have seen the way that they played yesterday. It was not too shabby, the fact that they managed to take 1 point off of Pakistan. Although there is, of course, a very obvious trend that Pakistan has constantly went complete 3 games in the games that they have played all the way so far. And unfortunately, here on the main stage, we won't be able to see Pakistan games anymore though. So, you know, in terms of trend and in terms of consistency, Pakistan always goes up 3 games. So if you guys are looking for Pakistan game, well, you can kind of take a look at the second stage, which will come, you know, later on into the day, where Pakistan will go up against Hong Kong China.
Yeah, definitely. For the side of Team Hong Kong China, taking a look at the draft for the first time, we got KY Zheng on that gold lane, KK Chan on that roam, HL Law on that mid role, CJ Wang on that jungle, and MY Chung on the EXP lane.
Yep. So it's the same thing as, okay, at least for the entirety of the East Asia and South Asia region, we don't particularly have got a lot of information about any of these teams. When you kind of drop right in and take a look at the Wikipedia, the Liquipedia page, some of these teams we can tell, like for example, Team Mongolia, we can tell who they are. Well, in the meantime, for Hong Kong, China, it does seem like the only one that we can kind of look at things. Okay, never mind. I don't. Okay, so this guy, Wang, which is a jungler, apparently he is known as Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, not
From
the wolf,
Guangzhou
not the
Gaming.
wolf that we know, right?
Yeah.
yeah, not the
Like
not,
literally,
not,
there's a line that says for Filipino talent, see Wolf.
yeah. So that's not the wolf that we know. So this is a wolf from, I believe, from the MLBB series, the Super Cup that we did have in the Chinese region as well. So there's a bit of statistics over there for him playing on that competitive scene. Now, when you're faced with that international challenge, we have other teams coming in from that same region itself. But now for Team Hong Kong, China, it's the first look into that newer team, newer setup when it go up against that international talents coming in, right? Team Sri Lanka, maybe not too strong, maybe a good test of wherever they are on that power level.
At this point in time, it's just -1 and -2. The difference is not that big because in the end of the day, the match wins are undoubtedly more important because of the head-to-head tiebreaker, right? So ultimately, as long as whichever one of these two teams wins, they will be on top of one another. Sri Lanka win, then they will be on top of Hong Kong, China. If Hong Kong, China wins, then they will be on top of Sri Lanka no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. For that head-to-head, very important. But that top 2 spot, also very important. Now we're going into the map randomization.
Not again.
Broken walls.
Not again.
Broken walls. It will be broken walls. And yeah, broken walls was the theme. We did get that map 5 times in a row yesterday. But now, for today, we had a good plethora of maps so far. Yet to see dangerous graphs. But I'm looking forward to see the drafts here, right? Because this is not drafts that we can try and make sense of, especially when it comes down to Team Sri Lanka. I was trying to make sense of the draft yesterday. Didn't make sense, but still worked out for them against Team Pakistan.
Yep. So ultimately, I do kind of want to see what these two teams have got in store for us. Team Sri Lanka as well as Team Hong Kong, China. Understandably, we did talk about Team Sri Lanka before. We also don't have any information on any of these players. Now, in terms of the staff, though, at least from what I see, I don't see that there's any coaching staff for the side of Sri Lanka. While from Team Hong Kong, China, they do have a coaching staff. So I think that is going to make a bit of difference. But as you can see, right behind of Team Sri Lanka, they do have someone behind after all.
Yeah, I mean, possibly someone to... I'm not too sure whether that's a coach or maybe that's one of the players. But now for this side, I mean, there he is. There he is. That's
Evangelon.
Yeah.
Evangelon?
Evangelon.
Evangelon?
Yeah, I mean, it's Evangelion with an I.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. We got it settled. But okay, you know what else is not settled yet though? The batters. As we do have a carry, Guinevere, Baxia, and Marcel that will be thrown into the batting pool. Have yet to see the Paquito being thrown in as of yet.
Yeah, the Paquito still very strong here, but Team Hong Kong, China, they do throw out that Akai ban, and this opens up quite a lot of premier picks into the pool, right? If you talk about the Harif that's available, Tucson available, Paquito, Phobius, all there still in that pool. And yeah, Phobius, we see it being one of the priority picks here, and Team Sri Lanka actually going for the Fredrin ban here. I mean, if this was a draft that makes sense, Team Hong Kong, China, you go for the Paquito here.
Without a question. Oh, okay. I mean, Harif is not bad. Harif is great, but if you were given the situation whereby you gotta choose between Paquito and Harif, I without skipping a heartbeat, I'm going for Paquito.
Yeah, and
your team is
looks like Paquito is totally ignored here.
Yep.
So maybe both teams, they don't feel confident in playing the Paquito.
Probably.
Probably. That might be a comfort thing because, I mean, we're talking about people that, yeah, you're just coming into that competitive scene. You might not have the biggest pool of heroes.
Exactly.
And learning what's to play in the meta is also pretty difficult, I would say.
Yeah, so we can expect and we should be expecting that their pools are going to be slightly restricted, but the main thing is they gotta have to make full use of what they have drafted for themselves. They have picked up an Alice. They do have a Harif for themselves. So at least the way that we are seeing right now is that Team Hong Kong China, they do want to play for a little bit more towards the crowd, no, I'm not sorry, crowd control, but it's more of like the AoE. You want to play for team fights. Most definitely gonna be more team fight oriented.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they went for the Gourd instead of picking up the combo piece that is the Atlas, right? The Atlas together with the Harif would have been a great combo maker, definitely with the Zaman's Force and also the Fatal Links as well. Now this opens up for Team Sri Lanka to go with quite a lot of picks here, especially for that mid lane versus that Gourd. Generally, you can pick up the Tucson, you can still pick up the Eve, that's still available as well. And yeah, you don't have to worry about the ability to lock down the Gourd because you can pick that up on later on.
There we go. As you were talking about the Atlas, it will be taken away by the side of Team Sri Lanka. So far, Team Sri Lanka's lineup, they are looking at to be very tanky, and they do want to play for more on the durability route as what we see over here, which may actually be a little bit difficult for them to play due to the fact that there is a presence of Gourd over to the side of Hong Kong China.
Yeah, so definitely on that mid role to have that mid priority as well. Lilia's still in the pool if they want to go for that and if they want to try and get that Claude for themselves, right? Very good pick against the Harif. I'm surprised they didn't go for that earlier. Now they banned out the Suyo. Now for Team Hong Kong China, what do they respond with, right? Generally, we see teams, they instantly look at the Claude as an answer towards the Harif. But at the same time, Claude, you gotta pick heroes that make Claude work. And so far, Leo Mord and Atlas in the pool, yes, it can work in that team fight-centric lineup.
So, with that all said, for the side of Team Hong Kong China, they're looking for the frontliners, right? Or rather, the jungler and the roamer, which can be frontliners for the jungle, but it really depends on how they would eventually want to play it. Right now, it looks like they have a decent balance. Someone that has pretty good firepower in the mid stages of the game coming from the Gourd. If they would want to have pretty good transition, then someone in the early game would be great coming in from the jungle role. Unfortunately, Suyo is already been taken away, so we've got a slightly small pool to work with.
Yeah, and right now for Team Hong Kong China, something that can take away a lot of that pressure would be I was gonna say the Kajo would I mean lockdown heroes would have been good, but the Atlas was still there, so the Kadita ban, right? So Eve into Sid, Paquito still in the pool as well.
Oh yeah, completely forgot about Paquito, dude.
Yeah,
not used to that. I am not used to the fact that Paquito is still leaked out until this very moment itself. But it does seem like we do have a couple of the players that took down their headsets and the graphics went out as well. It kind of seems like we are in the midst of a lobby pause. With probably a little bit of technical error or something along the lines. We will keep you guys updated as to what exactly is happening as of now. But don't worry, our voices will keep you entertained.
Yeah, maybe this is the players thinking that, oh, this is a rehearsal and this is not the actual draft. Then that would make a lot of sense,
that
right?
Would make some sense.
That would make more sense because you leave Paquito out. I mean, after the performance that Mr. Vinuya Sanford had yesterday, you leave the Paquito out. Man, oh man, that's just blatant disrespect towards the hero itself.
Honestly, I don't know how this is gonna work, but you know, we'll get back to you guys if whether the Paquito is actually gonna be part of the problem or not, if whether we're gonna see a bit of a difference with the Paquito or not. But don't worry. This is still relatively early into the drafting phase, so if there were any form of rewinds, I wouldn't be too terribly surprised to a certain extent. But, well, regardless, we will jump in when we get the information. But for now, we do want to address the elephant in the room. We're not saying that you are the elephant, but, you know, for every single one of the audiences out there, welcome. And in the event that you just tuned in, this is, of course, the 2026 Asian Games Esports esports stage for Mobile Legends Bang Bang Qualifiers. And every single one of the teams that you see right over here, they are playing for qualification to go to the 2026 Asian Games held in Nagoya, Japan in September.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of national pride, a lot of team pride pride here on the line as well. And yeah, I believe we're going back into the banning and drafting phase right now. Old school coming out inside of Team Hong Kong, China.
Whoa.
The YSS into the Khalid. Okay, the Yisun Shin, right? It's a jungle Yisun Shin. It's not that gold lane Yisun Shin. So I can see the direction that they're going for. They have clear lockdown with the boat coming out from the YSS. But for Gord, is that going to be enough peel, right? So they're banking on winning their lanes. And now for Team Sri Lanka, they go with Zetian and the Moskov as well.
So at this point, this is literally a blast in the past, whereby at one point in time when Zetian was just released, there was this meta where as long as a team picks up a Zetian for themselves, the opponent automatically picks up a Yisun Shin, just kind of like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, vision for a vision kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, that YSS, I'm not seeing the value here, but of course, a scary scaling YSS is indeed in late game going to be extremely hard to deal with. They have a very good front line, but I'm just seeing that early game scaling problem, right, coming out from both sides here. Meanwhile, for the side of Team Hong Kong, China, Team Sri Lanka, I would say Team Sri Lanka has an easier time executing, especially when you get that level 4 with the Fury of the Phoenix into that Fatal Links as well. I mean, Learmore just wreaking havoc.
Honestly, let's also remember that the Zetian's ultimate is also a natural counter over to the Mystic Gush. So main thing, as long as you don't see Zetian picking out the ultimate, you wouldn't want to Mystic Gush, which means that you're kind of playing the waiting game. In the event that opponents eventually dive you, your number one idea is that you want to destroy all these frontliners as soon as possible, but you want the maximum amount of output, the maximum amount of value from that.
And here we go. The first game for the first time ever on the main stage. Team Hong Kong, China versus Team Sri Lanka. Game 1 here, as now both teams coming up with their drafts of their own, right? Not too meta, but not too out of the ordinary. But already an early flicker being used by Shen, trying to get a bit of damage onto HL Law, but just walking away.
Yep. Kind of looks a little bit more like an accidental press, to be fairly honest. It's not really an escape tool, it's not really a engagement tool as well. It's more of like a, oh crap, I pressed wrong. But to be fair, it's not that bad. Currently only at 90 seconds left, and there is still time before, you know, anything is too important. Because by the first turtle, it's very likely that it doesn't have to Fatal Link, so you wouldn't need it for the first turtle either ways.
Yeah, imagine first minute, right? Flickering in, oh, I don't have Fatal Links. Oh, okay, I'm not level 4 yet. Still first minute in the game, my friend. And now Praveen just facing down the Harif. And Harif naturally just deals, is a lane bully, right?
Yep.
That's why Harif was so strong in that gold lane for such a long time. And with Zayman's force, well, you can fight for the objectives extremely well as well.
Well, we gotta see how the rotation is gonna be, because right now Team Sri Lanka seems to be putting quite a bit of emphasis down over to the XP lane. And unfortunately for Ramanayake, he's still only at level 3, which actually enables the allies to be a little bit more aggressive in roaming around the opponent's jungle. And this would be able to push Kabindu backwards. This is not great, by the way.
Yeah, great combination coming out from CJ Wong and HL Law, but now looking at the side here, the Alice, it's going to be a problem here. Kabindo going down as CJ Wong gets first blood. Now, Spear of Destruction does not land with the Spear of Despair, as Praveen is here on the scene. Turtle still not down at the moment, but you can look at MY Chung just going crazy at the side now. We have the Harif KY Sung just coming in and able to try and zone away members of Team Sri Lanka as they get the turtle.
Not too shabby. Team Hong Kong China, they made a full rotation down to the bottom lane turtle, just like what Sri Lanka did as well. KY Sung was that close to getting a kill down onto Hashan, but to be fair, not getting a kill is not that big of a deal. The main thing is that they are able to get a collective amount of gold and experience to everyone through the means of that turtle.
Yeah, now 2,000 gold ahead at 3 minutes into the game. That's a very good lead coming in from side of Team Hong Kong China. They did lose a lot of valuable time, right? And at the same time, creep priority was not in the way of Team Sri Lanka. Team Hong Kong China actually pushed out all those waves before connecting into that turtle. So they lost a total of 3 creep waves, and that's 1 for each lane.
It is still relatively early in the game. However, Team Sri Lanka doesn't seem like they will be able to play in the early games as well because Team Hong Kong China, they're doing a very good job right now. Just take a look.
Yeah, now Kavindu in a lot of trouble here, but Mystic Gush has already been used. They gotta worry about CJ Wang. He deals a lot of damage at this stage in the game. He's level 7 over Kavindu's level 5 here. He can pop the ultimate here, but that counter initiation will not end well for Team Sri Lanka.
I think it is really important for us to take a look at CJ Wang, currently at level 8. Now, of course, CJ Wang, he does have a lot of experience to his name, which would definitely make some very good sense that he is pretty well above of the opponent's jungler, Kavindu, which is only at level 6. So the quality of a retribution coming up for the upcoming turtle in 20 seconds is going to be extremely important. And the very fact that Hong Kong China, they have that lead on the jungle, it helps.
Fatal links into that Mystic Gush combo, not able to find a finish, but they do get the finish onto KK Chan. Now 2 members, Hashen and Praveen, going down as Team Hong Kong China. They come in with the collapse, CJ Wang on the scene.
And that's a big play. As long as Team Hong Kong China is able to get a couple of good kills for themselves, with CJ Wang with 2, KY Jung with 1, this is a step towards greatness. Even though the Mystic Gush was not the one that gets a kill, but hey, doesn't matter. What we want to see in the early stages is some great farm from the side of CJ Wang. With 2 kills to him, consistently getting enough XP and being able to take down these turtle, early game is secured. But it's all about a transition from the early to the mid game, where we need to see HL Law start to pop off with some of these items, at least 2 items, and KY Jung, if he's able to accelerate his growth well enough.
Yeah, now forcing out 3 flickers from the side of Team Sri Lanka, right? They won't have it for this next objective fight. If Team Hong Kong China wants to collapse onto this, CJ Wang is going to have a great time. Level 10 currently on the YSS. 5 minutes into the game. That is a lot of macro advantage. And also Praveen in a lot of trouble in that top lane. Gets solo killed. And with that, Nisal takes out the turtle as well. They want to go for the collateral, but Nisal goes down for the trouble. 2 members for KY Sung, and he's still surviving here, able to deal so much damage. Eventually does go down, but at what cost?
Yep. Honestly, that KY Jung has been alive throughout the entire battle a little bit longer than expected. So right now, Kavindu, he really wants to get away.
Yeah, CJ Wang coming with that snipe, and KK Chan with the flicker as well, but Spirit of Destruction and Spirit of Despair. Team Sri Lanka, they might have turned things around here, and now they do take out CJ Wang and KK Chan a bit too deep in enemy lines.
Oh, it's so unfortunate that HL did not have his Mystic Gush there. So both teams kind of overstayed their welcome in their own respective zones. And for the side of Hong Kong China, they were on a pretty good spot until the fact that Praveen just joined back in. This is the moment where they kind of overstayed their welcome a little bit, and it's really just the point in time whereby they saw Praveen. By the time they see the Moskov, it should have already been too late.
Yeah, that Spirit of Despair landing onto 2 heroes can be such a menace to deal with. Now Purify being popped by KY Sung. The rest of the team falling in. Praveen extremely low, gets taken out by KY Sung at this point, but Leo Mort is here on the scene. But Kavindu just instantly falls to the Mystic Gush coming out from the HL Law. And Hashen does manage to get out, and Fatal Links, no value there.
It's really unfortunate that Team Hong Kong China hasn't exactly been able to put Hashen down under multiple times, as a matter of fact. But maybe now they'll be able to secure something.
Now Nisal, he has to get out from this position, and he does able with the flicker. But now CJ Wang, he's been showing so much map presence on this map. They gotta consistently be wary of his rotates here. Team Sri Lanka, if they go across that river line, CJ Wang is gonna threat.
It's currently 7 minutes into the game. We're looking at about 3,000 gold lead in favor for Team Hong Kong China. In terms of experience lead, CJ Wang is at 11 as opposed to Kavindu at level 8. Kavindu is having a really tough time getting any of these farms. I think he really needs to start focusing a bit more onto his own jungle creeps.
Yeah, now we have the ultimate coming out from YSS, but definitely Hashen will be taking the chance to disengage, right? No flickers available on Nisal and Praveen. They don't want to take these fights yet. Now 2,500 gold lead, still looking good for the side of Team Hong Kong China, but Team Sri Lanka, they They have the better late game and better team fight.
Yep. So Harif already does have the Starling Scythe and the Feather of Heaven. Just a single Holy Crystal and is more or less going to be online enough to be counted as accelerated growth, where he will be a menace in subsequent team fights. And we are only at 8 minutes in. I think it's relatively fair to say that he should be able to get his Holy Crystal by roughly about 12 minutes if things were to continue this way.
Yeah, at this point, Team Hong Kong China from KY Zheng, right? There's nothing much you can do about the Harem. Barring the fact that you want to drop down the Fatal Links on him, he still has to Purify, and now Kavindu, they want to threaten that, but Damon's Force in that back line, Spear of Destruction, not able to land. Mystic, gosh, dealing so much, flickers forward, Fury of the Phoenix, not enough. Fatal Links eventually being used, but already 2 members down from Team Sri Lanka, and this would mean the end of this Tier 1 turret over here.
It's really unfortunate because the way that Team KY Zheng was playing was too bold. He's way too bold as a Harif, which would have suggested that backup is just right around the corner. And as for Kavindu, he's so behind that he shouldn't be participating in some of these battles as the headliner.
Yeah, they're 1v4 for KY Zheng in the Damon's Force. He's just doing so much on this Harif, and yeah, he's just showing that, yeah, you should have banned out the Harif, my friend.
Oh man, so now Team Sri Lanka, they are very far behind at 9 minutes and 40 seconds, and as we talked about that Holy Crystal, he might actually be a lot closer than we have originally expected. Might have already got that 2 of those wands, and by the end of this Lord, hopefully by getting themselves the Lord advantage, that is where Team Hong Kong China will have such a power spike that Team Sri Lanka will not be able to do anything at the upcoming 12-minute Lord push.
Yeah, 5,000 gold ahead, and they will get the Lord for free, right? This is not a team fight that they can take. They need a very good Fatal Links on more than one, especially on CJ Wang, that does not have to Purify. They cannot look at KY Zheng now as a problem. CJ Wang has been the main issue of this momentum so far. And Praveen, I gotta say, on the Moskov, doing a great job of keeping up with the gold disparity despite being behind in that lane.
So at this point, we've got waves up in the top lane that's pushing pretty much, but now we've got the Lord that will be marching in down to the bottom lane. The only one that does not have a T2 turret. Team Hong Kong China will want to focus a bit more on the top lane and the middle lane, because the main thing is this upcoming Lord, their #1 objective is to be able to bring down all of the outer turrets. To be able to get the inner turrets, well, that would be great, but it is all just bonus.
Yeah, right now, both teams still posturing for position here. That Fatal Links always being kept an eye out from, popping the ultimate out from Kavindu. And Kavindu, gotta say, right, he's been not having the greatest of games so far, and still not finding any opening.
All 4 members, they're moving in tandem, wanting to look for the best way possible to defend their homes. But they still do have got the Holy Defense though, so they don't particularly have to be too afraid to a certain extent. That will be the Lord that will be taken down in the bottom lane. Sri Lanka now faces a push from the top and the bottom at the same time.
Yeah, popping out all the Holy Defenses. Team Hong Kong China now, they don't want to dive too far in, right? Making that mistake crucial to this point might mean a turning point for Team Sri Lanka. They're not that far behind, and this base defense becomes key here. And this is where Zilkin actually shines, right? Because you do have that range, you have that clear speed as well. So, but they're very reliant on Zilkin staying in that middle of that zone.
So, at this point, Team Hong Kong China, I really want to look out for a win condition for them. What? Oh, sorry, not Hong Kong China. For Team Sri Lanka, look out for a win condition for them, right? At this point in time, early game, mid game, completely out of the picture. It's not about, you won't be able to get much instant gratification as to fighting back immediately. They need to clear waves.
And now with that bottom and inward turret actually down, Damon's Force being used, Spear of Destruction being missed as well. 3 members already down from the side of Team Sri Lanka. Triple kill coming out from the Harem, eventually shut down by Praveen. Now Team Sri Lanka, they can't actually fight back here. They still have Kavindu and Praveen alive. And Team Hong Kong China, they have to watch out for this. This one catapult will not be enough, and they will disengage.
Yep, it is a 2v4 though, and unfortunately no more mega creeps that will be marching in, and realizing that Hashan, Nisal and Ramanayake will come back out very soon too. So don't want to overstay their welcome. Focus on the neutral objective first, which is the lot that is going to be coming up right about now.
And we were talking about the win conditions from the side of Team Sri Lanka, right?
Yeah.
They have to catch the Gourd before that Mystic Gush is popped. And he does not have Purify. So Fatal Links on him might be fatal. CJ Wang with the Retribution, of course, as a jungler, is also a prime target. They are not tanky by any means. And Team Hong Kong, China, they just don't want to be in that front line for them.
Honestly, I think that other thing that Team Sri Lanka can look out for is that maybe the Mystic Gush is not that big of a deal because they have the Fury of the Phoenix. So in order for them to get that pickoff that they wanted, the Fatal Links, you can expect, you know, it's not going to be easy to fight 5v5. If you go for 5v1, honestly, it's gonna be a very good chance that you will win. But the question is, right after a single man Fatal Links, who is able to melt that person down? Which is understandably the problem about this composition from the very start. Whenever you go for the Fatal Links, no one is able to fully utilize that space that is created by Hashan and that timing that's created by him as well.
Yeah, they've been using Fury the Phoenix to respond. I feel that they need to use it to initiate. And now for Team Sri Lanka, they might be in a slight bit of danger here, but there is no creep wave to speak of in that bottom lane. Team Hong Kong China still posturing in that bottom side, and they do manage to get out that mid lane tier turret with the Mystic Gush being popped through the Phoenix as well. Great timing from the side of Team Sri Lanka, but KY Zum still tearing through with that Damon's Force double kill right now. And now going for that top side, KY Zum eventually pulls down. Now with the Spear of Destruction in the back, Praveen can actually go on a tear through. This is a play coming out from the side of Team Sri Lanka. They fight back.
Amazing defense coming in from Team Sri Lanka. They held on through and managed to get themselves a 3-man kill. At this stage of the game, getting 3-man kill is so big. Yes, they may have lost every single one of their turrets in their base, creating a barren wasteland. However, it is not over just yet.
Yeah, this was a great fight. Great use of the Fury of Phoenix. Landed on completely all 5. KY Zung without that range of the Damon's Force. Praveen taking full advantage of it, jumping towards the back with the Spear of Destruction.
From this point on, Team Sri Lanka, we can start to contest for these rivers already. Even though they might be about 4,000 or 5,000 gold behind, but it doesn't particularly matter too much. They can try to go for these fights again. However, Kavindu is at level 15 already. Yeah. So in terms of retribution quality, they are neck and neck.
At this point, it's a toss-up, right? You want to be talking about the battle spells, the ability to use the flickers. They will have it for that next fight, especially if they don't want to contest this Lord, which I don't think they should, right? Team Sri Lanka, they still can't play outside their base. They can still easily get caught by CJ Wang unless they want to move as 5, but the creep pressure coming through, they can't focus on one lane alone.
The other thing that we need to look out for is battle spell economy. Every single one of the members from the side of Team Sri Lanka has used their flicker. They are about to get them back though, so might not be that big of a problem. Nisal has it back, Hashin has it back, Ramanayake has it right now. So if they want to go for the fight, they might.
Yeah, ready Fury of the Phoenix being popped, Spear of Destruction as well, trying to get that Lord for themselves, but not able to find that pathway. And for that creep pressure that's being mounted, Praveen actually getting that Radiant Armor instead of the Athena Shield versus the Harifir. I would say I don't really like this choice, but if you're going for that sustained team fight, and if you know that you're not dying to the burst, Praveen, you can actually get that.
So with the Lord now marching into the middle lane, once again, it is still going to be really difficult because of this this push coming in. Every single one of the turrets are already taken down, but luckily for Team Sri Lanka, they are ready to take on this fight. Because right now, I think economy is not that big of a deal. It is all about how you deal with the current resources that is given to you.
Ultimate's being popped here, Force as well. Now through the Phoenix stock available as well. Fatal Links landing onto HLR, and HLR actually takes out Kavindu in that process because Fury the Phoenix is not there. And KY Sun still tearing through everything. The base falling extremely low. Praveen goes down, and this is Team Sri Lanka losing their base as Team Hong Kong China takes the first game.
Very good play coming in from Team Hong Kong China. I thought that might have actually worked it out for Team Sri Lanka because Terizla was actually taking so much of the time out of that Harith. However, it does seem like the main 4v4 that we are looking out for did not work too well for Moskov. I was hoping that the Moskov would be able to do enough damage to the main body, but alas, it wasn't. It seems like there's a little bit too much control, too much pandemonium going on at the same time, to the point that Terizla's effort in, pulling the attention away from that Harith just didn't work out at all.
Yeah, I would say having that short range capability of the Moskov really came to bite them back in the back as at the end, right? They had the very good clear speed of the Zetian, but they weren't able to stagger the waves enough to push out and fight outside the base, right? Once the fight was taken inside of the base, that's where Harith really shines. You put down the Zamon's Force, it's inside your base.
Yep.
There's nowhere you can go.
It's free real estate, right? The only thing that can realistically work out against him is going to be the penalty zone. But technically, he did land the penalty zone. It was just a single dash away, and that's a goodbye.
Yeah, and we did see KY Zung, right? This MVP of the game, he was dealing so much work on the top lane. He drew so much attention to himself while CJ Wang was doing the macro work in the background as well. So they complement each other so well. And KY Zung, he was in the thick of it. He would fight 1v4, 1v3 at times, giving up his own life just to secure that ounce of farm.
Yep, so honestly, very good plays coming in from Team Hong Kong China. In some sense, pretty scrappy to a certain extent, but they understood their game plan pretty well. So I've got no problems with this game itself. But now they gotta go back to the drawing board and kind of understand, what is the thing that helps them get that kind of lead? How do they move on from here? And will they be able to get a more decisive victory against Team Sri Lanka? Because let's be honest here, the longer that this game drags, the better it is for Team Sri Lanka. And at one point in time, Sri Lanka might have been able to get the win away.
I mean, at the option, they instead of the Moscow, they had the Claude available as well. So I would feel that in terms of the draft, there was a lot of things that they could have looked at. Fury the Phoenix, yes, it does counter out the Mystic Gush, but the cooldown range between the Mystic Gush and the Fury the Phoenix is just too wide of a distance, right? To commit that Fury the Phoenix for the Mystic Gush, especially in the late game where the Mystic Gush is going to be available once again, they could have been looking at a Zusin or also a Yve that could have secured them the team fight way more handedly, and going for that Zetian extremely late when you did have that opportunity available. And Lilia was there as well if they wanted to play for that late game.
I think aside from that, I think that Nisal might not be too confident or too comfortable playing as the Zetian over here, because as a Zetian 0:3:6 is actually not too great. Although we can't see exactly how much damage the Zetian has been dealing thus far, but Zetian as a pretty strong artillery mage who has a massive range in her in a built-in skill 1 kit, she should be able to be a massive pain in the rear for many of those players from the side of Hong Kong China due to the lack of proper front lines inside, aside from the Alice and the Khalid, for example.
Yeah, I mean, the front line was actually kind of lacking, right? Yeah, as we said, for the side of Team Hong Kong China, they felt like they did not have a lot of beefiness to tear through. And feels like also, for the same time, for Kavindu as well, I feel that his confidence was shot. After CJ Wang got that early game momentum, there were a lot of times where he could have collapsed into the fight and try and just be a disruption factor for the team to get the damage. But sadly for him, that Mystic Gush proved to be his undoing.
Too much catch-up game coming in from the team of Sri Lanka. Yeah, quite literally too much. Leomon have to play catch-up, that Zetian needs to play catch-up. The Moskov at one point also needed to play catch-up, although we gotta agree there was one really good play that did accelerate the growth of the Moskov to a certain extent, but not quite enough for them to continue on from that point. In fact, sorry, I think that Moskov had two great plays that managed to single-handedly save the team.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Praveen did a very good job of holding on, especially for the side of Team Sri Lanka. And I'm looking forward to see what they have in store for us in Game 2, right? Game 1 feels like, yeah, mistakes were made. They had to fight outside the base, and they couldn't proceed onwards from there. Win conditions were not set clearly for the side of Team Sri Lanka. Hopefully, they can make the adjustment now. For the first time ever today, we're going to have dangerous grass.
So, dangerous grass, huh? Okay, so nothing too out of the ordinary. I'll say that this is not going to change too much either. So, going in between these two teams, we are starting out the draft immediately, with Akai already slapped into the banning pool immediately. Something that we should expect to go into the banning pool should be Freya, probably Jusin, Paquito, Marcel, all that jazz.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, when we talk about the other groups, right? This is a ban and pick that always slips through for other groups. I'm not too sure whether they have that player that can do it, but the Fanny itself, we have not been seeing much of a priority here for any of these teams. And is just Fanny not in the meta anymore? But no, we did see that ban out from Team Philippines and Team Indonesia yesterday.
I do think that Fanny is a little bit too high mechanic for maybe either of these teams, which are still in their infancy stage within of their region, to pick up the Fanny and, you know, go completely ham with it, especially with, you know, being in the 2026 Asian Games. Yeah, 2026 Asian Games. So they gotta have to play something more, I would say, easier to pilot, something that is a lot more straightforward in order for them to, you know, have a more proper idea of what the game plan is.
And now for the side of Team Sri Lanka, a respect ban on the side of the Harif as well. Generally not being seen in the top 3. Now they do eventually ban it out. This leaves Marcel and also the Paquito in that pool, right? For Team Hong Kong China, if they wish to take one of them out, that's a possibility. If you think about strong openers, that Freya, that Phovius is still there as well.
Honestly, the banning pool is actually going down pretty darn slow, as both teams, they are really looking into it very, very carefully. Guinevere is already taken out. Due to the fact that the previous game, no one played the Paquito, no one banned the Paquito, might just mean that, you know, we might not need to care about Paquito in this entire game at all.
Yeah, probably. That's going to be the case here. Now, opening for the side of Team Hong Kong China. Paquito's still there, but they go for the carry opener. And yeah, carry as an opener, I can see where it's good, but it's not good enough to warrant that first pick, right? You essentially reveal your play style as you're gonna play to protect the carry. And once again, carry has the same problem as Moskov, where the range is short. So meanwhile, for the side of Team Sri Lanka, if they want to lean into this, where we see the Granger coming in, right? You play with that range, you play that Rhapsody, you can play also that Bruno to try and get that bullying along that way.
So, with carry from the side of Hong Kong China and now Team Sri Lanka, they have decided to pick up a Yi Sun-shin for themselves. So, literally ripping a page out of Team Hong Kong China's...
Okay, I give up on this draft officially, because we see Min Sitar and Yi Sun-shin coming out for the second pick. Doesn't make sense at all, right? They're not responding to each other. They don't have a play style. They're just going with whatever they feel like. And yeah, for Min Sitar, I mean, at this point, at this juncture of the game, you're revealing so much by going into that Min Sitar. It's not like your opponent is gonna pick Min Sitar right now, right? You could have picked up Zusin. You could have picked up the Yves. There is so much priority in that pool for that good mid laner to come through. And yeah, picking up that Min Sitar right now just reveals your hand just very early.
Uranus gonna be picked up from the side of Team Hong Kong China and followed up by a Hilda. So honestly, I don't quite understand what they're trying to do here. So they do have Hilda that is really strong in the early stages of the game. In the meantime, the Minsita comes out for the side of Team Sri Lanka. That is an R1 pick. You can kind of shift that over to R5 and it would be perfect because, you know, you'll be able to bait out more of these, you know, blink style heroes so that your ultimate will be a lot more useful.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, right? At this point, it's like, yo, dangerous grass, maybe Hilda, maybe that's what they're going for. I would think that, but yeah, they ban out the Gourd coming in from the side of Team Sri Lanka and for the side of Team Hong Kong China as well, right? In terms of that pool priority, where that meta is extremely strong towards that Paquito, towards the Phobius as well on the EXP lane, picking up the Uranus and also the Hilda. Oh my god, they better have a good game plan here because this is going to be a very interesting game, completely off from the current meta that we've seen. Guys, don't try this at home, and Team Hong Kong China and Team Sri Lanka, they're doing it for you so that you don't have to do it yourselves.
So we've got then Hylos, Atlas taken away, while the God as well as the Juicin is taken away from the side of Team Sri Lanka. Now, R4 pick. At this point, we don't have very strong frontliners from the side of Team Sri Lanka. I'm still really positive about Minsita, gonna be real honest. Valir is, of course, a pretty good answer if you want to deal with, you know, fast-moving heroes, single point dashes that, you know, get close to you. But honestly, for Hilda as well as Uranus, they don't really quite care about the fact that you kind of throw them away because they can just kind of walk back to you.
Yeah, so this is very confusing to me. I've tried to make sense of the draft, but at this point, right, we are gonna have to admit that this draft is not gonna make sense. So yeah, now going for the glue. Okay, good against the Hilda, good against the Uranus. Okay, finally something that makes sense from the side of Team Sri Lanka. Now from the team side of Team Hong Kong China, they go for the Vexana. Okay, something that I haven't seen in a very long time. Yeah, I mean, the Eve is still in the pool. Gourd and the Tucson, of course, banned out, but yeah, I don't see why the Vexana is being played here. Against the glue, yes, okay, strong. But is it strong enough?
Your team is picking.
I think it's good enough to just completely destroy the glue. We'll see. Need some items, and the glue will possibly not be able to see another day. But right now, Team Hong Kong China, in the early stages of the game, they've got pretty good damage coming from Hilda, from Vexana, as well as Su Yo. Now, the Ixia.
Okay, range, yeah, okay, I get it, full barrage. But after the full barrage...
I mean, no one can technically dive. No, no, the Hilda can just run.
Yeah, Hilda can just run. There's also the Vexana's...
Eternal Guard.
The grasp, the nether grasp that you need to worry about as well. So there's a lot of disruption factor there. And also at the same time, I can see what they're going for, right? King's Calling, full barrage, very good combination with the glue trying to force the members back in again and again into the full barrage. But that's so reliant on the full barrage. Once the full barrage is down, where else is the damage coming for? It has to be from Kavindu.
So Kavindu, he needs to farm like crazy in the early stages of the game. Technically, the pokes can come from the Valir, and those pokes from Valir are gonna be, you know, very invisible impact. You don't realize that you're actually taking a lot of damage out of the Valir, but the moment that he gets a glowing wand for himself, oh boy, you really need to look out for him.
Yeah, here we go. Team Hong Kong China versus Team Sri Lanka. This is game number 2. Team Hong Kong China currently up 1-0 at the moment so far. Now, KK-chan actually taking a lot of early game damage here after Hilda will be able to jump back into the bush, try and get some healing factor back into his way.
No, but the different thing is that the Hilda actually don't care at the fact that his HP is low. Just kind of weaving himself in and out of these brushes is more than gonna be enough for him to get himself back on track.
Yeah, definitely. Early game Hilda, very hard to deal with. Indeed, Kavindu has to watch out from the rotation coming out. CJ Wong and Hilda, Mr. KK-chan, they're looking to try and invade as much as possible. We do see the defense coming through, but it's not going to be enough when the Uranus joins the fray as well.
So at this point, we're still in the early matchups. Team Sri Lanka, They're trying to kind of have a feel of how the game is going to look like and how the game is going to be like as well. We do have KK-chan that has made all the way up to the top lane. Unfortunately, doesn't have got a glorious pathway that allows her to just run super fast right in the face of Ixia. No, unfortunately. She does have her own speed boost though, but I don't think it would be enough to help them secure such an early kill.
Yeah, 2 minutes into the game. Still, both teams still posturing for position here. Now we do see an early advantage coming in for the side of Praveen as he gets taken out. KY Zung still on the task with that carry. Eventually traded out 1-for-1. First blood going the way of Team Hong Kong China. But this eyes should be on the turtle right now as both roams, they are trying to make their way back to the turtle, where CJ Wong will be starting already here. And now with the flicker, it's not going to be enough with the King's Calling. And that's the thing. King's Calling wasted. What you going to do now? And yeah, you picked the Mincy first pick.
To be honest, right now, I do want to see that the Mincy will be able to do good work against some of these, very blink style heroes such as KY Zheng, but in the early stages, that Mincy is just not gonna do anything at all. While in the meantime, we just finally see that the Valier hits level 4, but right now, all the way up the top lane, Hassan.
Yeah, in a bit of trouble, but definitely will be able to get out. He does have the flicker available. Team Sri Lanka does have no flicker usage left for that next 2 minutes, and that means that Team Hong Kong China, they can ramp things up. And KK-chan having that flicker as well, right? Ability to chase, it's going to be there. And not having the ultimates available, I believe at this stage, even the full barrage would not be a good answer to anything that Team Hong Kong China are going to throw at Team Sri Lanka's way. Now Hashan in a lot of trouble, and we see the flicker usage.
Yep, that is goodbye to Hashan, as the Team Hong Kong China has finally managed to get themselves the 3rd kill of the game. Although we are only 3 minutes into this game and MY Chung is already proxying the waves, which is great because this is the kind of lineup coming in from the side of Team Sri Lanka that doesn't necessarily have got a very good control of their own jungle, and they're just not particularly fast enough to catch up to MY Chung's proxy results.
Yeah, I mean, both sides, I would say, Team Sri Lanka now in trouble, right? You picked up the Ixia for yourself, and the thing is, Ixia does not have very good survivability. If you get dove under the turret and you have no teammates, there's no way you're getting out.
As KK-chan now walks himself right into the midst of teamfight.
Yeah, now with the King's Calling, surprisingly, HL Law is going to be the target of choice here. He was just collateral damage. The hook wasn't even in his direction. He just walked into it, and sadly into that King's Calling. And now for the side of Team Sri Lanka, they get a lucky kill going for themselves right now. Now they have the ability to fight for this turtle, but HL Law already back on the scene. We'll have that Eternal Guard up very soon.
Just take a little bit more time before we'll be able to see possibly a big fight, because now we are only at 4 minutes into the game. CJ Wang is already tackling down over to the turtle. In terms of retribution, quality doesn't really matter because Kavindu has long forgotten about the fact that they need to go for this turtle. Went for the retribution already onto the orange buff and will be on his merry way.
Yeah, definitely very quirky playstyle coming out from the side of Team Sri Lanka here. And now with that, Hashen being the only source of initiation, I would say. King's Calling not exactly reliable. That stick much more reliable as the source of initiation. Team Sri Lanka, they only have one avenue of entry, and full barrage right now until level 5 still not being able to be popped at this point. Now for Team Hong Kong China, it's all about that mid lane turret control, right? If you can get that mid lane turret control, you open up so much of the map, and now Hashen once again in trouble. This is not what you want out of your Gloom, your only frontliner that you potentially have for the rest of the game.
At this point, Team Hong Kong China, they just want to play a little bit on the slower side. They do not want to put themselves right in the face of Team Sri Lanka and just kind of force the issue at all. Waiting for the perfect opportunity, and perhaps just kind of look at, the different standing objectives and different neutral objectives that is currently available. Team Hong Kong China, they're probably just gauging their way. Do they have the firepower? Do they have enough farm? And speaking of farm though, the carry is actually pretty darn farmed up. 1,500 gold on top of the Ixia. to be honest, maybe not that big of a surprise due to the fact that, you know, Hong Kong China has been putting a lot of emphasis up in the top lane, putting a lot of difficulties on the Praveen.
Yeah, now Shen once again able to land the stick combo here, but full barrage not available. KK-chan actually in a bit of a tipple here, just flickers into that push. Now Shen in a slight bit of trouble. KY Zung does find the finisher. Rest of the team of Team Sri Lanka, they're coming in here, and HL Law will find himself in no man's land. Kavindu eventually popped him off just instantly, and HL Law did have that flicker available. So both teams making blunders of their own. Now Team Hong Kong China from that 3,000 lead, now still keeping it even.
Those little pokes coming from Ramanayake doesn't seem like he's doing anything at all to MY Chung. But this is what a Uranus is capable of doing, right? Being able to tank a lot, being able to heal a lot, being able to, you know, well, technically speaking, do quite a lot. And at a certain point in time, once you kind of give it to a Uranus and you realize, you know what, we can't touch Uranus, we can't kill Uranus, his discs eventually will do a lot of damage, dude.
And now he is able to do that, especially in this turtle right here. King's Calling has been used. CJ Wong eventually gets the turtle, though. Has a superior damage to Kavindu at this point, but CJ Wong eventually gets chased down from the side of Ramanayake, but the rest of the team falling in here. Carry nowhere inside. Kavindu eventually goes down, and KK-chan not able to save his teammate MY Chung as Team Hong Kong. They get the turtle, but for 3.
That's not good. Well, even losing, you know, a little bit of a trade here and there, it is almost a full team wipeout onto the side of Team Hong Kong China. Team Sri Lanka did a fabulous job in trying to tally things out, and now pushing out in the middle lane, they will be able to successfully bring down the T2 turret in the middle and the bottom, which is honestly pretty darn crazy with how much has changed within 1 minute.
I mean, look at what is going on here, but look at the mini-map, right? You see KY Zung being ran at by the glue, and Hashan finally gets that solo kill onto KY Zung at this point. So there's a lot of trades going on in the map, and both teams, right? If you don't understand what you're doing, the enemy doesn't understand what you're doing too.
You gotta fool yourself first before you fool the enemies.
That's exactly what's going on. And we saw a very aggressive flicker coming out from the side of Ramanayake. It really works against CJ Wong. And gotta say, right, King's Calling, I might hate on it a lot, but it works very well against the Suyo.
Oh. Well, looks like they knew a little bit of a tactic that will work very well for them. But to be fair, I think that the King's Calling is mostly reserved for KY Jung, just so that they will be able to ensure that their glue stays alive, or maybe Ramanayake himself will stay alive too.
And now Team Sri Lanka, they look poised to fight here. Now 1,000 difference, it's still anyone's game. Eternal Guard has been dropped here. Hashen will no longer be that target that they are looking for. Hashen, he's able to survive through that first barrage of damage. Now with Eternal Guard not available, Team Hong Kong China, they have to look for another avenue of entry.
The rest of Team Sri Lanka now moving themselves backwards and do see MY Chung as well as KK-chan. However, this might not be the opportunity or the chance for them to go, oh wait, hold a second.
Yeah, Flicker being used here for the side of KK-chan, and now with the rest of the team coming through, full barrage finally being used here. They don't have any ability to stop it. KY Zung going with the side with the light wheel. Flickers in, not unable to find a finish onto Praveen here now. KY Zung against the world once again, but does have the backup of CJ Wong. It is 2v5, and they managed to get 3 for themselves. Kavindu, no. Jumping in, and then we gotta pause. So I'm not too sure what's going on here.
Oh man. This is a 10 minutes game, and so much, well, scrappy fights all the way through. And this is just going to be a really powerful gameplay all the way through. And you gotta have to expect that at this point in time, we have got Hong Kong China that just did a fabulous job all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, for that comeback into that team fight, I would say that Team Hong Kong China, were 2v5, right? They were 2v5. Suyo and also KY Zung on the carry versus the world. And I was gonna say, right, KY Zung, he's gonna deal a lot of damage, especially if they run into him. And that's exactly what happened. The rest of Team Sri Lanka, they were running into a carry. And that's exactly what you don't want. People run away from carry.
honestly, as long as you have ways to kind of lock them into a fight, I think that the carry generally will be having a great time. However, right now, what we have is constantly just, a lot of back and forth. Team Hong Kong China, they were having a pretty good time, and then suddenly, now we come down to the later stages of the game. You're not being able to do too much as a team because, you're giving the opponents the power spikes that they're looking out for and the time of their life right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely a good response coming in from Team Sri Lanka, especially given the fact that they know how to use the glue right now. They're not dying to that first barrage of damage.
No way, yeah.
Yeah, but still at the same point, that carry, that Suyo, the damage is starting to come out for Kavindu. Kavindu jumping in 1v2 like that, then instantly getting popped. I'm not too sure whether that pause was part of it, but Kavindu jumping in, that was not characteristic of a good YSS player at all. And now going back into the game, looks like everything is in order. Kavindu jumping in, and that was KY Tung, CJ Wang against the entire Team Sri Lanka. Looking at the instant replay, right?
Yep,
Look at that.
This is the one. CJ Wang, keep your eyes onto him the whole time. Literally will be able to get that kill on Nisal, just that simple. Kavindu open up, and at the point in time, I think that he was just tunnel vision, just going straight in, and he was like, okay, you know what, now's the time, we really need to get a kill, we need to do something about this.
Yeah, I mean, he is the general after all, right? You gotta go in for the heroic move, and it didn't work out. So we got two heroes from the side of Team Sri Lanka, and not going to be able to get that Lord advantage. Now 4,000 going back into the side of Team Hong Kong China's favor, as we have Team Sri Lanka actually clawing their way back.
As of now, when it comes down to Hashen, he needs to be really careful about his positioning, because at this point in time, we can definitely agree that HL Raw, the Vexana, he will be quite a menace to Hashen. He can't stay in that form for extended periods of time. He really needs to, possess someone as soon as possible whenever he could. So, he can't be in the front lines as too long, because this is actually the one of the only front liners that we have to remember about.
Yeah, and in terms of creep clear, right, they are very reliant on that full barrage, as we said before. Kavindu, he's not going to be able to get that space into that creep wave at all. And also for Nisal, right, you want to use your spells for your heroes as much as possible, not on the creeps. And sadly, for Team Sri Lanka, it looks like they need to be playing on that back foot.
However, for Team Sri Lanka to play on the back foot, they won't play like this for an extended period of time. We do have to remember that Team Sri Lanka is, technically speaking, a double marksman setup. Having an Ixia that has such superior range, and the fact that Kavindu does have got very good synergy together with Ramanayake, honestly, towards the late stages of the game, if we were to see this game dragged on to past 20 minutes, this game might actually go over to the side of Sri Lanka, because at that point, let's be honest, MY Chung and KK Chan, they ultimately just becomes over-glorified sandbags.
I mean, at the same time, right, triple damage coming through from the side of Team Sri Lanka. Also, now Kavindu in a slight bit of trouble here.
No.
That damage is not going to do well when there's two members in Team Hong Kong China.
Yeah, that's a big mistake.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have went that far.
Yeah, that was capitalized on from the side of Team Hong Kong China instantly, right?
Yeah.
You're going for the macro play, but there's nothing going on the map for you. There's no Lord, there's no objective. And yeah, he was just on a split push.
Yeah, there's nothing to kind of like bring the opponents away from you. If you do want to go for macro play, there must be a reason for doing that. And you can ensure your own safety. Number one is also because of the fact, if you have team members that is on the opposite side of the map showing themselves and be like, hey guys, we are ready to fight. In the meantime, there's another person on the opposite side of the map being you, then you are forcing the opponents to make a choice, make a decision. And in fact, sometimes a hard decision. But for that one, it was an easy decision. We just need to go down.
Yeah, we just need to go down because there's no Lord, and now the Lord is up. Now Kavindu with no buffs will have to just give up this Lord, right? Team Hong Kong China now. CJ Wang will be picking up the Lord for themselves. Now, this will be spawning in at 14-15. So now Praveen does pick up the Malefic Gun, but KY Zung already has that Wind of Nature, so will have the ability to survive in either the King's Calling or also the full barrage.
At this point, back to 14 minutes into this game. It's understandable that a Valir will have the highest damage dealt, but it is not understandable for a Vexana to actually not have that big amount of damage, right? Total damage dealt is 26,000 damage. Honestly, kind of surprising to me.
I mean, I'm not surprised that the Vexana deals so much damage. Well, they've been
Not enough though.
Yeah, they've been clumping up for these team fights, but at the same time, right? We talked about the triple damage setup coming in from Sri Lanka, so that's why they're on top as well. Now, they're forming that tri-lane push in. Full barrage will be available as well. That stick also there. This is going to be a concerted effort coming in from the side of Team Sri Lanka as they try to hold on to the inhibitor turret on the top side. No initiation coming out from either side so far. They both don't have tools to initiate.
This is actually really tough for Team Hong Kong China. They have a lineup that is really great for the early game, having that Hilda and all, but they have already reached the late game territory, being at 15 minutes. So the tankiness of the front lines, the fact that the squishy back lines are gonna be pretty far and out of reach for KK Chan. KK Chan has already come to the point that he is an overglorified sandbag now. But MY Chung, he can still be a pretty good sandbag, because as long as you're just kind of like going back and forth and exchanging hits between you and Hilda, then maybe you will be able to find some ways and find some avenues for the Suyo to come in to do decent amount of damage, or perhaps open enough space for KY Chung to do some of these, damage over to the front lines. But if you're just right in front of the enemy's turret, none of these can be executed. You need to pull Sri Lanka out of their base for you to be able to execute your game plan.
Yeah, and they're playing on the opposite sides of the map. Meanwhile, for the side of Team Hong Kong China, it looks like they want to go for that next objective, right? And this time, this breathing space that you actually give over to the side of Team Sri Lanka, this gives them a lot of breathing space. And once again, Kavindu gets instantly shut down. This is dangerous grass. Every single push is dangerous, my friend.
Kavindu, not again. Unfortunately, this is kind of what Hong Kong China wants, right? Pull them out of their base, and unfortunately, that is discipline.
Now 4v5, there is great control coming out of Shan. Full barrage has been popped so far, unable to stop it, but KY Zung focuses down on that turret. Light wheel has been popped. Shen eventually does go down, and this might be coming in for the side of Team Hong Kong China, and HL Law lands that snipe onto Ramanayake here. This might be the end for Team Sri Lanka. Only Nisal and Praveen left remaining. No full barrage left inside. No ability to clear out the creeps coming in from the middle side. Now Kavindu, he is back. And now the creep waves is handled. The Lord is Team Hong Kong China. Do they go for the throats here? Full barrage is available. It's not doing enough. It's not. They just need to run away from the range.
Oh no! Here we thought that it might be possible, but to be fair though, the Lord is now available. Then they can have a very, very prominent push that is upcoming to the upcoming base, because it is a barren wasteland already for the side of Team Sri Lanka. They are not that scared of the turrets anymore, because the main thing that is stopping any of the members, like for KK Chan or for MY Chung, to rush in and be a very annoying person to the back lines is really the turrets. But now that none of these turrets stands here anymore, the only thing that they need to look out for is Praveen's full barrage.
Yeah, so they need to watch out for that. They need to watch out for King's Calling. That's two things, right? You need to watch out for a circle and a triangle. So once you avoid those shapes, you're done. And now with the Lord coming in, now with the King Calling being set down, HL Law pops that Winter Crown. Full barrage is there on him. HL Law eventually goes down here, but Light Wheel at the side here. KY Zung unable to finish onto the crystal, going greedy there. And Team Sri Lanka, they hold on. They weren't able to avoid the circle and the triangle. As CJ Wong, Hashen, he's taking them out for a walk here.
Yeah, I mean, Hashen won't go down. That guy is a little bit too tanky. And unfortunately, that was maybe Hong Kong China's best effort at trying to make up for a push. And now, they lost 2 members. Team Sri Lanka, they are finally out of their own shell, and that's great for them.
Yeah, that full barrage, right? That full barrage just soften down the entirety of that creep wave. And meanwhile, KY Sung just took the full fury of the crystal. Now they do have one more defense left into them. And there is that split push coming in from CJ Wong that they need to consistently be worried about, right? You don't want a case of minions here, as the minions are now super from the side of Team Hong Kong China.
Now, Team Hong Kong China, the main thing that they gotta do is a sacrifice. They need proper sacrifice. They need to force Praveen in a spot where he needs to make very difficult decisions, such as, do I full barrage now? Do I full barrage later? KK Chan literally has to run his space right onto Praveen at the exact and the right moment, so that the upcoming Lord and the upcoming push coming in from these creep waves would not be halted by a single ultimate. Otherwise, that is just way too much value out of a single full barrage.
Yeah, this is a dangerous grass after all. They can't go for that 3-on-3, that tri-lane push, especially with such a creep clear tool coming out from inside of Team Sri Lanka. They have found a way to hold on for now. But still, both sides, they don't have a clean engagement tool, right? That's why you don't see them jump in and brawling against each other. It's more like a wave going against a wave. And they're unable to latch onto each other because they're just liquid. And now Team Hashan, right now, going in Sri Lanka, they're going for that thick stick, but KK Chan just dragging him away. And now the Lord is up. And Hashan does able to get out with the split, and also the flicker coming through from the side of Team Sri Lanka. Now, there's 3 flickers being used from the side of Team Hong Kong China. They go for the Lord here, and this is going to be the enhanced one. The damage reduction is there. You want to stick to the Lord, but it's so counterintuitive because the full barrage is there.
Yeah, so same thing as always. Bait out the full barrage, find a way to make sure the full barrage does not stick. Now, it's a lot easier to be said than done. KY Jung, where does he stand in this game? Where does he go in? When? Because it's going to be so difficult. The main thing that you want to do is you want to kill Hashan, right? However, the moment that he's attacked someone, you can't kill Hashan. You shouldn't, because you'll outright just like kill your own teammate instead.
Yeah, they need to hold that to that mid creep wave, get that mid prio going. But sadly for them, that mid creep wave gone down to the super creeps already. And Team Sri Lanka actually might have a staggered timing here for the creep waves if they want to full barrages. Now KY Zung, he's in a slight bit of trouble, but takes down Hashan at this point. King's Calling might not be enough here as Ramanayake overextends and goes down. Full barrage being used, but the creep wave is not fully taken care of. They can actually go for the turret right now. There's still a catapult left remaining now with Hashan and Ramanayake out. Praveen has no full barrage remaining. They're holding on to their lives here. For the side of Team Sri Lanka, Team Hong Kong China, they all need to hit the crystal, and they do it. They get that 2-0 clean victory for the side of Team Hong Kong China.
Congratulations over to Hong Kong China, as this game between these two teams, this is a situation where none of these two teams, as you mentioned, right, it's not about a very initiation-heavy composition, nor a counter-engaged composition. This is all about overall execution. The moment that you get into a fight, the moment that you get into a battle, you need to capitalize on the opponent's mistakes. And that is exactly what Hong Kong China did. They actually, look, the defense coming in from Team Sri Lanka should have been very much fortified. They have a single full barrage. As long as Ixia is constantly just behind the core, there is hardly anyone that can just jump right in and get a kill down on Ixia or force the Ixia to go for full barrage. Unless, you know, the ball is going to be onto the court of Hong Kong China, they are the one that needs to make the play, not onto Sri Lanka. So the moment that Glue went a little bit too far out and he did not manage to latch on someone, that's game.
Yeah, I mean, Ramanayake as well, right? Unable to cut his losses, jumping in with the King's Calling. Well, you picked that Min Seathorn first, right? You were expecting great things out of the King's Calling. And yeah, there were times where they were able to shut down the Suyo because of that. But when it boils down to that 50-50 fight, KY Zung, he had a grasp on it, right? Where he's able to deal the damage on the Harith in the first game, on the second game as well as the carry, as well as positioning really very good in terms of just trying to force out these objectives. Well, there's no catch available because both of these teams, they went for non-meta drafts. And this is
very non-meta drafts.
This is why these drafts are not meta in the first place, right? Because the lack of catch is so obvious, right? When there isn't Cho, when there isn't Kalea, when there isn't a Paquito.
Like a clear win condition.
Yeah, there is very little weird win conditions. You're going up against 5-on-5 and 5-on-5 every single time, and that's why teams like to stick to the meta. And this is what happens when, well, you see a Hilda, you see Uranus, you see a Vixana.
Yeah, I think at least for Team Sri Lanka, the idea that they're trying to go for is to bank onto the hook coming from Ramanayake, right? And that is probably their entrance, their way of bringing someone from the side of Hong Kong, China onto them. But once that is done, what happens then? You probably will want to go for, at that point in time, King's Calling? King's Calling just so that the rest of the members from Hong Kong, China, they can't just run right in that easily with a simple dash or not. But Team Sri Lanka, I think that the main problem is they were too quick or too eager to make a play. They constantly have the idea, you know what? In order for us to defend well, we need to have we need to kill KY Jung. We need to ensure that the carry goes down, so let's send the Minsita and the glue after her.
I think they had a bit of PTSD from that first game, right? From the first game where the Lord being inside the base caused them to lose. This time, however, they had that lineup where if the Lord is inside the base, they can stay inside the base. Because now they got the King's Calling, they got the full barrage. They could have played those AoEs extremely well. But in the last team fight, King Calling was way out of line. It was trying to catch KY Tsung as much as possible. And Praveen, you saw the full barrage was being used on the Lord. And that's when the resources got divided for the side of Team Sri Lanka.
Indeed.
Yeah, so really, I gotta say, Team Hong Kong, China, it was a battle of perseverance, right? This was a game of who could last longer, and they eventually won the war of attrition.
It's literally a stamina play. Although it is kind of difficult to, kind of see how both of these two teams, from their own perspective, right? From Team Hong Kong, China, what do they have to do? Team Sri Lanka, what do they have to do? At that point in time, everything is in a mass hysteria, and they are probably just really desperate because they know that this is the battle of the lower seed. How else are they supposed to go up any higher if they do not get to win this game?
Yeah, I mean, in their bracket itself, there's Team Pakistan, there's Team Nepal, and these are all newer teams as well. Team Mongolia in the bracket is also doing extremely well. But in the group itself, right now, it looks like Team Hong Kong China is no longer at the bottom of group number D, right? So we'll be taking a look at Group C next, which is, it's going to be
Uzbekistan versus Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, Team Kyrgyzstan. I'm looking forward to see, because Team Kazakhstan had good stuff to say about Team Kyrgyzstan. And Team Kazakhstan was extremely good yesterday.
Yeah, honestly, they had great showing. As such, we actually do have quite a lot of expectations coming up for the teams that is upcoming here. In fact, so far, every single one of these games that has been, kind of showed to us, they have been either entertaining or they have been really strong competitors all the way through. So when it comes down to this upcoming game between the Central Asia region, I'm just watching it. I'm gonna keep my eyes completely peeled and open to see what Team Kyrgyzstan and Team, what was that again? Kyrgyzstan and
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan, yes. What these two teams has got for us.
Yeah, and currently the standings, so Team Sri Lanka, with that loss, they find themselves at the bottom of the barrel at -3 points, and Team Hong Kong China moved themselves towards that top 3, and now they're tied neck and neck with Team Pakistan. They do need more points though, because I believe head-to-head favors Team Pakistan at this point. Now for the side of Team Mongolia, they pulled themselves forward 2-0, 4 points so far, and Team Nepal now down on that 4th place.
And of course, well, just like that, we have got the entirety of the standings for Group D. We have -3 on Team Sri Lanka. We really had hope a little bit more from Team Sri Lanka, to be fairly honest, because we talked about that, right? Game number 2. They could actually bring the game all the way to game number 3.
Yeah, and definitely, I feel that for the next few games going forward as well, it's going to get even more exciting.
It's getting tighter.
Team Uzbekistan, Team Kyrgyzstan, we have not seen. And we're going to have a team that we're familiar with, but we have not seen yet, which is Team Singapore, that's going to go up against Team Indonesia. after that game as well. So after Team Uzbekistan and Team Kyrgyzstan, we're going back to Group A.
Oh yes, you're right. And then within of Group A, we have Team Singapore versus Team Indonesia, and I think
Team Malaysia versus Team Myanmar.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we've got a lot of games to look forward to. So for every single one of you guys that are tuning in from home, or perhaps you are here in Resorts World Sentosa, you guys have got a full day lined up for you guys, and we truly hope that you guys will be very excited for what's about to come up.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to what's going on for the rest of the brackets here today. And I have a soft spot for Group B that we saw in the first two games. I mean, Team Iran, first Maniac, first Savage. Then afterwards, we got a Savage falling from Team Jordan.
Yep, that lineup or that group was great. But maybe this upcoming group will be greater. So make sure you guys come back and take a look at that game. See you guys.